Sup? My name is Alien Duckling, and welcome to a brand new series on this channel, where I will be delving into the realm of Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to buy the game, so I didn't enjoy the game, but it was on sale, I wanted to buy it, so I bought the game. I can already hear the 2013 loyalists typing in the comments, "No, you had a lot of problems with the game. Why did you buy it? Why would you give Adam Ryland your money after all you said?" Well, listen. Every game has its problems, including TEW 2016, which I very do much enjoy. That was in English. So we're just gonna jump into this. I enjoy some of the features in this. I think the push system is incredibly stupid, but I still do enjoy the game. I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far, and I want to really get myself comfortable with the game with you, 4 viewers, watching and enjoying, hopefully. Don't watch if you don't enjoy. So we're doing things a little different here than everybody else. Everybody you're going to see, they might play WWE, they might play All Elite Wrestling, they might play New Japan Pro Wrestling. Me being a Joshi Mark / Joshi Nerd / that's about it. I am playing as, I pressed the wrong one, Stardom. We're playing as Stardom. I don't think I've ever seen anybody play as Stardom. I haven't looked it up. I might be stealing somebody's idea. Hold up. Okay, so nobody has actually done a Stardom series. There's one video, and it's from 4 months ago, so I don't think he's continuing. But I am taking Stardom into the spotlight. This might get a lot less views than your typical New Japan or AEW or WWE save would, but I'm not about the views. I'm about spreading the good word of the likes of Mayu Iwatani, Konami, Jungle Kiona, Giulia. Why am I blanking so hard? The entire stacked Stardom roster, literally top to bottom. I don't think there is a better roster in professional wrestling. You also have your layer of depth, because you have these stars like Mayu Iwatani, like Syuri, like Tam Nakano, like Death Yamasan. They've all been in the game, not 2020 TEW, like the wrestling game, the wrestling universe. They have been in the sport of professional wrestling for years. Death Yamasan, as Kaori Inuyama, has spent 9 years with Stardom. She has 20 years of experience. She's been there since day one, and we're not going to slander her, even though I think this gimmick is dog shit, and I can't wait to get rid of it. We've got Jushin Thunder Liger here with 36 years of experience. He's not a wrestler. He's going to sit on commentary or to be a road agent or something, but we've got so much depth to this thing. This roster is so stacked from top to bottom. So I'm going to take you in a quick overview if you've never heard of Stardom, if you've never heard of half of the names on this list. So we're going to take you on a quick roster overview. So for our major stars, we have B. Priestley, Death Yamasan, the Wonder of Stardom champion Giulia, Jungle Kiona, Konami, the World of Stardom champion Mayu Iwatani, Momo Watanabe, Riho, Saki Kashima. I'm surprised she's a major star. I'm very surprised at that. I'm not going to complain. I love me some Saki Kashima. We have Syuri, we have Tam Nakano, and we have Utami Hayashishita. Who she is the goddess of one half of the Goddess of Stardom champion. The Goddess of Stardom champions. I could not English. We have Syuri as 1/3 of the Artist of Stardom champions. So, Giulia is also 1/3 of the Goddess of Stardom champions. I forgot. If you're in Donna del Mondo, you have 2 belts. That's just how it works. Except Syuri and Tameka. So it's literally just 2 of them that have 2 belts. But that's a 50% rate, which is, we round up to 100%. Stars, just Jamie Hayter, who is the current SWA World Champion, and Natsu Sumire, who is the current Child Destroyer of World Wonder Ring STARDOM. Well-known talent, we have Azumi. It is spelt AZM, but it is pronounced Azumi. I know you're going to be confused by that if you do not know who Azumi is. But she is, it says 17, she just turned 18 today as I'm filming this, October 1st. So, she's, very, very talented for her age. She has been wrestling since she was 11. And she is the current Stardom High Speed Champion. You will come to know that I love Azumi. I think she is top tier in Stardom. My booking might be a little tiny bit biased at times, but I'm going to try and keep things down to like an acceptable standpoint. Okay, we're not jumping straight onto the Konami All Belts train. We have Himeka, the newest addition to Donna del Mondo, not including the one that I'm bringing in soon. She is a big, power, tough lady that's also, it's cute. Not my words, hers. Do I agree with them? I'm keeping this video professional. We have another Donna del Mondo member in the form of Micah, who is 1 year into a wrestling career, like 1 year and like a few months, and she is already better than like goddamn half of the wrestlers I've seen. It amazes me. She is another double champion. She currently holds the Future of Stardom Championship and the Artist of Stardom Championship. If you're confused as to what any of these titles are, I'm going to get into them. This is a bit of an introduction video, and we're going to jump into the Yokohama Cinderella show to sort of close everything out, because that's a big show, and that's why I'm happy to start in October when this is literally 2 days away. Real life, it's going to be a very good show. Top to bottom, the card is amazing. We're going to modify it a little bit, but we've kept it mostly in key and stuff. With what we could do, we're doing it. We're not jumping straight into fantasy booking just yet. We're sticking with the base that we've been given. Back to the roster, we also have Saya Kamitani, the other half of the Goddess of Stardom Champions. This ES should not be here. It's Goddess of Stardom. Database maker messed it up. He messed a lot of things up. I had to go through, edit a lot of stats and stuff because they were very harsh. Our recognizable names are basically, actually there's a few here that are of note. Hanan, Hina, Rina, and Ruika are all, as you can tell by their age, they're very young. They are, I need to update a few of these pictures. These child pictures are very outdated because they don't look anything like how they do now. Children grow up fast. Yeah, but Hanan, Hina, and Rina, they're all siblings. Ruika is not related, she's just kind of her own thing. And, they're all children, they're all learning at the Stardom Dojo, and, I guess they're your equivalent of young lions. They usually wrestle each other, to open the shows. They, there's some people that are involved with the children's division, like, Itsuki Hoshino. I think she's retired by this point, or like she's going to retire. Her body is not in a good, state in real life, but in this she's fine. Natsuko Tora is the current leader of Oedo Tai, the sort of heel rogue faction that is, they're just kind of like very anti-Tokyo Cyber Squad at this point. We'll get to that on the Yokohama Cinderella show. Saya Iida is another one that wrestles like regularly with the children, or like in an enhancement talent role, I want to say. She has two nicknames to differentiate her from Kamitani. She has Giant Saya because she is the little giant. She stands at 4'9", but she's built like Togi Makabe. Her other nickname, Gorilla Saya, or Gori-chan for short. We're probably just going to call her Gori-chan. And lastly, we have Starlight Kid. I'm going to go out of the way and say I adore Starlight Kid. I think she's an incredible wrestler. She has been wrestling for 5 years. She's 21 apparently. She might be like 20 in real life. I'm not sure of her age. Honestly, nobody's really sure of her age. Nobody's really sure of her name. Nobody is sure of anything. She is she's a very mysterious woman, but she's super cheerful and talented, and I'd say she's the best high-speed wrestler that they have. It's hard to compare because Azumi works such a different style despite being in the high-speed division. Azumi is a technical flyer. Kid is listed as a technical flyer, but she's pretty much straight up just a high flyer. She's not really too much into the technical side of things. Let me introduce you to the titles here if you've never seen them before. These are the Artist of Stardom Championships, currently held by Donna Del Mondo's Giulia, Micah, and Syuri. There is an orange belt, a blue belt, and a pink belt. Stardom's belts are pretty much color-coded, which I really enjoy. Especially in the Artist of Stardom department, because it gives everybody a unique color. It's usually like two colors that suit somebody, and then like the other one just kind of gets stuck with whatever the middle one is. But it works. We have the Future of Stardom Championship, which is low prestige. This is our rookie title. I think you need two or less years of experience to compete for this. Micah has 1 year of experience when she won this. We have the Goddess of Stardom Championship. It is currently held by Saya Kamitani and Utami Hayashishita of Queen's Quest. We have the 5-star Grand Prix, which is a yearly tournament. The winner has not been put here for this year. It was Utami Hayashishita. She is owed a red belt opportunity. The winner of this gets a red belt match. Red belt being World of Stardom Championship. I probably should have mentioned that we just call the two major titles by what their strap colors are. But yeah, Utami has won. She'll be Mayu's next opponent. Actually, there's two opponents she has before that, but she's facing Mayu at the end of October, real life. I think we'll probably book that at some point in here as well. There's the Cinderella tournament, which is an opportunity for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. It was a mess this year. The winner, anyways, not really the winner, but like how things turned out because of it. Because the white belt was vacated, so you couldn't have Giulia challenge Arisa Hoshiki, who was retired, who had held the title for nearly a year because she won it from the Cinderella. She won the Cinderella, and she went on to win the white belt, as did Momo Watanabe, I believe. It's a very fun tournament. Single elimination 5-star Grand Prix is round robin. Those are the two tournaments in Star. There's also the high speed Grand Prix occasionally, but I don't think that's important. I don't think we're going to do that. We don't have any high speed workers really. Speaking of high speed, Azumi's high speed championship. This is for the high flying, the high speed. There was like some like fake rules kind of put in play by Hazuki, where it'd be like a 10-minute time limit and all that. But in actuality, it's just like any other title. It's more, I'd say it's like for the lower down people, because the white belt is a very like top tier mid card title. Sometimes it's even more important than the World of Stardom title. Like that's how good it is. This is probably a more proper mid-card title for people like, as you see here, Azumi, Riho, Tateyama-san, Hazuki, all these people that have held the high-speed title in the past. The SWA World title is an interesting one. It has very high prestige. Wow. It's a... people call it the Gaijin title. It is... The ruling of it, it cannot be defended against anybody from your country. It has to be defended against somebody from outside the country. So as you see here, Io Shirai from Japan, she ended up losing it to Toni Storm from Australia, who then lost it to Viper from Scotland, to Tommy from Japan, then to Jamie Hayter from England. It's very... because it's very reliant on Gaijin, and, not a lot of them come in and out of Stardom, especially not at this point in real life with the pandemic and everything. It's very rare for you to see a title change for this. Toni Storm had 15 defenses of hers. Viper defended hers twice in a year. It's not an important title by any means. It's just It's an interesting title, because never before, as far as I know, has this kind of thing been in play in a wrestling company. So we're going to do some fun things with this, hopefully. We'll definitely try and branch out, bring in some more Gaijin. I do want to look into some people that I'm very fond of outside of the Joshi world. There's probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 that I'd be able to hire. We'll look into those down the line, but for now we're focused on the Joshi action that is at our fingertips, Next is the Wonder of Stardom Championship, which should have a lot higher prestige, but I guess it makes sense with how it's... Who's currently holding it? Giulia won this in a short tournament that kind of should not have existed, but it did set up a very interesting feud with Tam Nakano that was kind of already brewing. We'll get to that. It's at the Yokohama show. I think it's their final match, regardless of who wins. It's gonna be a fun one. I hope Tam Nakano wins in real life. Will that affect my booking in here? We'll find out at the end of this episode when I actually get to the show. And finally, the World of Stardom Championship. Mayu Iwatani is the current holder of this. This is the red belt. The Wonder of Stardom title was the white belt. Mayu, she's a great champion. This title has had its fair share of questionable champions. The alpha female, Yoshiko. You'll see that was vacated because she tried to kill Act Yasukawa. And but it's also got some interesting names, like Io Shirai, Kairi Hojo, Mayu Iwatani, Meiko Satomura, even Toni Storm, Kagetsu. Bea Priestley is a questionable name. We'll not get into that. This is Mayu Iwatani's second reign with the red belt. And God, does she look good with the red belt. I love it very much. Donna del Mondo. Giulia is the leader of this, along with Himeka, Maika, and Syuri. The Donna del Mondo is an outsider unit that was created by Giulia, who came from Ice Ribbon. Himeka, I'm not sure where she came from. I want to say actress, but don't quote me on that. Maika came from Just Tap Out, and Syuri has been a freelancer for years. This is basically the stable of people that come outside, into Stardom. That used to be a Oedo Tai, as far as I know, but now it's Donna del Mondo, and they're kind of the rogue unit that's taking over and basically proving that Stardom ain't shit. We've been trained elsewhere, and we're dominating these people. Oedo Tai is your Bullet Club, I guess, if you're a New Japan fan. It's right here, they're rebuilding themselves after a tough spell. They lost Kagetsu, who was their leader. They lost Hazuki. they've kicked out quite a few members over the years, like Tam Nakano and Tam Nakano. But currently, they're basically the stable of turncoats. The only like original still in there is Natsu Subire. She's great. I love Natsu. Natsuko Tora, the current leader, she came in the 2019 draft. Basically, she had a lot of dissension when she was in Jungle Assault Nation with Jungle Kiona. She had a lot of dissension with Jungle, and she basically grew to hate her more and more. And she was like a perfect fit for Oedo Tai. B. Priestley betrayed Queen's Quest, and just kind of like hopped in, like, yo, what's up? Because she was teaming with Jamie Hayter in the tag league. They won together as a cross unit thing because Jamie kind of just came into Oedo Tai normally. And then she ended up turning on Momo Watanabe. Saki Kashima was a part of Stars. She was very cheerful. And she ended up turning on Mayu after, I think it was at the year-end Climax show. She turned on Mayu. And they sort of had their feud where Mayu didn't want to wrestle Saki, but Saki like demanded it, and she would like come out after Mayu's matches and she'd be like, bitch, wrestle me. It was a great feud. I love both Mayu and Saki. I think Mayu is, in my opinion, in my professional, respectful opinion, I think that Mayu Iwatani is the best wrestler in the world. Not best female wrestler in the world, just straight up best wrestler in the world. There will be people that disagree with that. There will be people that say Io Shirai is better, but like in her current state, I think Mayu Iwatani is the best professional wrestler to ever grace a ring. That's how I see it. Yeah, Saki kind of wasn't really fitting in with Stars too much. She just kind of like hopped into Oedo Tai. I was like, yeah, F you, Mayu. Queen's Quest is a very interesting stable unit. It was originally led by Io Shirai. She basically used her status as like the ace of Stardom to like corrupt these young rookies into joining her and like just ruling Stardom as the best, which is why the collective youth of Queen's Quest is so young. I think their oldest member just turned 22, I want to say. How old is Saya? She's 23, okay. So Saya is their oldest member at 23. Hina is 13. Their average age is below 18, as far as I remember. Azumi is 18. Momo is 20. Hina is 13, as I mentioned. Saya is 23, and Utami is 22. They're like super young. They all came up through Stardom as like rookies. Azumi and Momo are co-leaders here because Momo is like the acting leader, but Azumi is basically like the actual leader. She was the direct protege of Io Shirai. And she was basically like the one that was going to be handed the role to Queen's Quest, but like Momo got it instead because I assume Rossi was just like, she's 16. I don't want her leading a faction by herself. Although Azumi would be a great leader, which is why she's kind of in the co-leader role here with Momo. Moving on to Stars, this is your Goody Two Shoes babyface unit. We have Mayu Iwatani as the leader. Hanan, one of the children we mentioned earlier. Itsuki Hoshino, Saya Iida, Starlight Kid, and Tam Nakano. The Stars has kind of fallen off a little bit in its own right because they lost Arisa Hoshiki, but they're still very talented, I want to say. Like, sure, you have people like Iida, Hoshino, and Hanan who might not be like the most top tier professional wrestlers that you have, but they're still very good. Mayu and Tam in general like make up for that by themselves, and like Starlight Kid is also amazing. And then we have everybody's favorite unit, probably the unit that got most people into Stardom, like most outsiders, because Hana Kimura was just she defied a language barrier. She defied like this perception of like, this is Japanese wrestling, this is American wrestling. She was legendary. Let's not make this sad now. We have Death Yama-san, Jungle Kiona, Konami, Rina, and Ruika. The original idea of Tokyo Cyber Squad was that, as Hana's catchphrase was, everyone is different, everyone is good. Like, just this idea of taking people that, you know, maybe didn't stand out in their former unit, or people that were failures, or people that just like never really got an opportunity because of their age. You know, like just taking them and putting them in a spotlight. And like the Gaijin as well, a lot of them went to Tokyo Cyber Squad. You just have this like this spotlight on all these people that never really had it before, because everyone kind of deserved that. That was how Hana felt. I'm getting emotional. So, you know, you had the failed leader of Jungle Assault Nation. You had the... well, I'm not even going to talk about Death Yama-san. I have no idea what happened there. We have, you know, basically a tertiary member of Queen's Quest in Konami. She was never important. She was never in the same role that people like Utami got as soon as they showed up. You had the children like Rina and Ruika, you know, and you had a lot of Gaijin as well, like Zoe Lucas, Bobby Tyler, Layla Hirsch came in later, Natsumi Apache, Mari Apache, just a lot of people that came in, and like there wasn't really a place for them. Tokyo Cyber Squad was that place for everybody, and that's why it's such like a beloved unit, and it's sad that it's most likely going to die on the 3rd of October. But I would honestly rather Tokyo Cyber Squad die than Oedo Tai, because Oedo Tai can be rebuilt. They can come back from losing Kagetsu, losing Hazuki. Tokyo Cyber Squad cannot come back from losing Hana Kimura. And that's the sad truth. So now that I have run through everything, I'd say it's time to properly delve into the show. I'm looking forward to finally starting the save and just getting your guys' thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Alright everybody, so before we hop into the show, I just want to mention some booking difficulties. I couldn't fit Momo Watanabe versus B Priestley into the card, so I'm going to be penalized for that, unfortunately. Fuga and Kyohei Wada are only 2 road agents. Both have way too much to do tonight because of how I've booked the show. So either I start booking the pre-match promo segments as one thing, or I get like a 3rd road agent, or both. Either of those would really work. Don't worry too much about that. This is our first show. Things are a little rocky. Momo versus B is going to be moved to our next show, which is, Nagoya Rainbow Fight. So, we'll see how that goes then. But tonight, let's just enjoy this show. The show begins with a pre-match promo from Hanan, who's backstage to cut a few words ahead of her match with Z. Hello everyone, tonight I am opening the show in Yokohama, and I'm not sure who my opponent will be. I'm a little nervous, but I always do my best. I hope I can bring home a victory tonight. Oh. You know, the classic Hanan, oh. It's got a 34, which isn't bad, I guess, for an overloaded road agent and Hanan's shitty promo skills. So, let's hop into the actual match. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, Z is revealed to be the returning Mika Iwata, who defeated Hanan in just under 6 minutes by submission. Hanan had 20, and Mika had 39. She debuted her Joshi Wrestler gimmick to get an initial rating of adequate. Unfortunately, they don't click at all. The road agent was poor again. The announce quality lifted the match and gave it a boost, but it's too short for an important match. I just wanted, okay, look, I was having trouble. The show is literally 150 minutes long because I figured, yeah, I can fit this into 2 hours. I cannot fit the big shows into 2 hours. I should have realized that. I'll adjust them to 2.5 because, like, the typical Stardom show is about 2 hours, and that's, like, the minimum you can do at 2.5. So, like, I'm good with that. I'm good with having to work the minimum rather than having to go beyond the maximum. If I need a 3-hour show, roughly, I had to shorten some matches. I had to remove Momo and B. I had a lot I had to do to even get this to turn out properly. But a 26, not the best. We have a very low popularity though, so like this kind of, it's very helpful for us. Any low rating is going to get us a decent show, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So after the match, Mika Iwata takes the microphone, and she begins to speak. Good evening, Yokohama. It feels nice to be back in Stardom after such a long absence. Last time I stood in a Stardom ring, I was known by a different name. But since those days, I have only become better. This is not the same Mika you remember. This is Mika Iwata. I will work my way to the top and be the best wrestler in Stardom like they never wanted me to be. But Mika Iwata is getting better at her gimmick. This got a 48. Fuka could have done a better job, of course. I need a third road agent. I may look into hiring, like, somebody for the next show if I can get them in. Oh no, the next show is tomorrow, isn't it? Shit. That's not good. Hopefully I don't overload the card next show. Well, on to the next match, or segment rather. Riho and Saida are backstage to cut a few words ahead of their match with Jamie Hayter and Natsu Sumire. Where did my promo go? I wrote a promo. I don't remember what it was. I forgot to put Saida on a script. Oh god. Well, basically, it's the typical Saida and Riho promo, like, hey, this is our second time teaming together. It's Jamie Hayter's return, and then Riho said something along the lines of Natsu was very nice to her, and she's gonna welcome Jamie back, and hopefully they win. And no promo from Oedo Tai because they don't do promos anymore. So about that had great heat and good wrestling. Jamie Hayter and Natsu Sumire defeated Riho and Saida when Jamie Hayter submitted Saya in less than 8 minutes. It was too short for an important match. I had to cram like the lower card matches into like less than 10 minutes. I have a feeling that Kid and Azumi is going to be penalized as well. You get away with it sometimes when you really think, yeah, I can book this show in 2 hours. Because I could not book this show in 2 hours. I'll tell you that much. This got a 36 though, and Natsu was off her game, and she was also, second best in the match. Riho was the best. Good job, Riho. Starlight Kid is backstage to cut a few words ahead of her important high-speed title match with Azumi. Tonight, I am very nervous. I know I can beat Azumi-chan, but she has been on another level as of late. Despite this, I am ready for anything. Azumi, I know it was your birthday a few days ago, so I got you a present. A loss to your new high-speed champion, Starlight Kid. I got a 28. These are all minor, so like we're not really too worried about the ratings. I don't think minor things like affect and like a show rating. So we should be good. Azumi is backstage as well to share her thoughts on the manner. This is my first match as an 18-year-old. Kid didn't buy me a present, so I'm going to beat her up tonight for it. Bow down, Starlight Brat. So a typical Azumi promo. Very arrogant, very, very fun. We do love Azumi promos. It got a 29, so a little better than Kids. It had great heat, or great wrestling, good heat. Azumi defeated Starlight Kid in 10 minutes and 21 by pinfall to make the first defense of her high-speed title. Starlight had 46, Azumi had 51. They have great chemistry. You love to see that. I absolutely love to see that. It was too short, of course. I initially had it at 12 minutes. I cut it down to 10 for our main event and our semi-main event, because those are long matches. And, rightfully so. They are big matches. This match got the crowd hotter, which you do enjoy seeing. 42 to really cap it off. Good. Our show is starting to turn around now. We're getting to the point where I actually care about ratings and stuff. We have Death Yama-san backstage to cut a few words ahead of her match with the new Donna Mondo member, XXXX. We don't know her name yet. And in typical Death Yama-san fashion, her only words are, "Death, death, I don't know who I'm wrestling, death." Bravo. That got a 33. That was way better than Kid Nazumi's promos. And they actually spoke English. It's extremely short. But the new member of Donna del Mondo is none other than Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling's ace, Mayu Iwatani. So she defeated Death Yama-san in 4 minutes 39 seconds by submission. She had 52, and Death had 39. Her Joshi Warrior gimmick got very good, which you love to see. It was too short for an important match. This is literally just to build Mayu up. Literally nobody cares what happens to Death Yama-san. Yeah, let's move on to our next segment, which is a post-match promo that got a 44. So, while celebrating her victory, Mayu Iwatani is joined in the ring by Giulia, Maika, and Syuri. I forgot to put Himeka. Giulia retrieves a microphone. "Did you not believe me? I promised that XXXX would change the landscape of stardom. And here she is, Mayu Iwatani. Once a fearsome striker in a land of children, she will fight her way to join us at the top of this company. And tonight, after Syuri wins the red belt, and Maika and Himeka win the Goddess of Stardom belts, Donna del Mondo will be well on their way to having all the gold." So, Mayu-san, which title do you have your eyes on? So then Mayu takes the microphone. "Thank you for the introduction, Giulia. Donna del Mondo is clearly the best unit in Stardom, especially now with the addition of me. You heard Giulia. I used to be the ace of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, but I wanted a change. I wanted a challenge. No more cowgirls and sugar rabbits. I am here for the real stars of professional wrestling. And my starting point? Jamie Hayter." We move on to Himeka and Maika themselves, who are going to speak on their upcoming match for the Goddess of Stardom Championship. "Strong Girl and Jumbo Girl will both be champions by the end of the night," says Himeka. "I have some unfinished business with Saya Kamitani from our 5-star match." And Maika chimes in, says, "It seems that Mayu Iwatani will fight forever. Last time, I beat her. Tonight will be no different, with the exception of Donna del Mondo taking all the gold." Saya Kamitani and Utami Hayashishita, it's time for their promo now. So Utami begins with, "I won the 5-star by beating Himeka. I've beaten Maika before. Tonight, you and I retain." And Saya says, "This will be my first time in the ring with Maika, but I'm cuter than Himeka. She couldn't beat me last time. She won't beat either of us tonight." So moving on to the actual match. Oh, God. Saya Kamitani and Utami defeated Himeka and Maika when Utami submitted Maika. But, they make defense number 1 of the Goddess of Stardom titles. Saya Kamitani sustained a compound scapular fracture. I have no idea what that is. It doesn't sound good. And a fracture of any kind doesn't sound good. If that's like a head injury and she's out for a year, that's especially bad. We'll have to likely vacate the titles again, unless we just want to shift it over to Momo casually. I feel like that might be the right choice rather than just completely ditching the Queen's Quest reign, because I don't really know if I've got plans for it per se, but I don't want it to end so suddenly, especially not by a vacancy. I will figure something out for the for the future. Oh, okay. Himeka got heat backstage following this match after injuring Saya Iwatani with a botched move. It was Himeka's fault that Saya is injured. That's not good at all. So now we move on to the pre-match promo for Jungle Kyona and Konami's upcoming match against Oedo Tai. It's a losing unit disbands match, so clearly there's a lot of stakes here, and they're both a little anxious for it, as you would expect. So Jungle Kyona begins. This could be Konami and I's last match as a team. I don't want it to be, especially not with the tag league coming up. We need to win. And Konami reassures her she is the control in this chaotic state of mind that Jungle has been in on her recent string of failures, barely able to score any points in the 5-star. She lost her red belt match against Mayu Iwatani. She cost Konami and herself the Goddess of Stardom Championship against Utami and Saya. Things are not looking good for this team. But Konami, of course, the calming one here, reassuring. We won last time, didn't we? There is no reason to be nervous, because remember, my triangle answer's winning percent. Konami, not the time. Kyona walks off ahead of her partner. Konami soon follows. Bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling. I love fantastic heat and great wrestling. That's beautiful. They got a 41. The winning team and remaining a faction, Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima, they have defeated Jungle Kyona and Konami in 18 minutes 19 seconds. After Natsuko Tora pinned Jungle Kyona when Konami accidentally struck her. It's very unfortunate. The circumstances are so similar to what happened last time when Jungle struck Konami and that allowed them to lose. It's just, things are not going well for Tokyo Cyber Squad. Especially not now that they have lost. They don't exist anymore. Tokyo Cyber Squad is dead. They cannot be a unit anymore after Oedo Tai's victory. That is the stakes of this match. It's heartbreaking. The show must go on. Kyona tries to find her whereabouts after the miscommunication, and Konami consoles her after the loss. So, despite this loss, they're going to remain friends. They're just going to, they have to finish this together. They have to accept what happened. They cannot change what happened. So Kyona stands up. She retrieves a microphone to speak. Maybe one last time they'll recite the Tokyo Cyber Squad catchphrase. Everyone is different, everyone is good, and everyone will have to be different now. Death Yama-san, Konami, Jungle Kyona, Rina, and Ruka all have to go their separate ways. So Kyona is going to speak until Konami jumps her from behind. She repeatedly kicks Jungle in the head before locking in a knee bar. Rina and Ruka frantically rush in to help. They're in tears. They cannot believe that they're watching one of their best friends, someone that they have teamed with and trusted for the past year and a half, do this to Jungle Kyona. Konami refuses to let go of the hold. for several seconds. More children keep rushing in, they keep trying to separate it, and she finally lets go. She takes the microphone, and she speaks for herself. Well, well, are we surprised? Jungle Kyona is nothing but dead weight. I am the best wrestler in Stardom, but she won't leave me alone. Red belt this, jungle power that. Hana Kimura said, everyone is different, everyone is special. But Kyona, you destroyed that motto. You never let anyone care for anyone but you. It was never about us, it was about you. I've been waiting to stab you in the back ever since you stole away my red belt opportunity. And you punched me in the face. You continue to choke every opportunity you've ever been handed. F*** you, Kyona. Hobble home and retire. Konami is the best and the worst. And that may be the best thing I have ever written in my lifetime. Konami has turned on Jungle Kyona. She has turned on Rina, Ruika, Death Yamasan, and all the Tokyo Cyber Squad supporters because of Jungle Kyona. This has nothing to do with her own jealousy. Jungle Kyona has repeatedly choked every opportunity. She had a chance to bring home the red belt to Tokyo Cyber Squad, and she blew it. She had a chance to bring home the Goddess of Stardom Championships, but she blew that as well because she hit Konami. Inadvertently, perhaps. But Konami doesn't see it that way. She has been waiting for this opportunity ever since she feels that her time on the draw with Momo and Mayu was enough to earn her an opportunity. But instead, Jungle stepped in. And now her leg is injured. She's not going to be there tomorrow in her hometown. And that may be what hurts the most. Only second to losing the unit that represented the legacy of Hana Kimura, and losing it intentionally at the hands of Konami, who is now a part of Oedo Tai. Moving on to our semi-main event. Tam Nakano looks into the camera backstage. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't smile either. She's just focused. All she does is raise her arm up, showing the Dream Shine wristband she's wearing in honor of her retired tag team partner, Arisa Hoshiki. She is doing this white belt match tonight for Arisa and only for Arisa. Now Giulia is backstage to speak on her title match against Tam. Her big title defense, her first title defense against the woman that she defeated to claim that championship. All you guys that love Giulia. Tonight is my final match with Tam Nakano. She has been a thorn in my side since Stardom returned back in June. I can't wait to bruise her cute face again and retain my white belt. You know, the one I beat you to claim, Tam-chan. See you in the ring. So moving on to the actual match. Had fantastic heat and great wrestling. And finally, after 25 minutes damn near, Tam Nakano defeated Giulia by submission to win the Wonder of Stardom Championship in honor of her best friend, her tag team partner who sadly had to retire before her time, Arisa Hoshiki. It's a heartfelt moment after a heartbreaking moment, lifting the crowd back in to that joyful state following Konami's awful actions against Jungle Kyona. So Tam had a 54, Giulia had a 48. It got 35 overall. It dragged in the middle, I assume. Neither of them really have a lot of psychology, Giulia being a rookie and me not wanting to mess with the psychology set on anybody because I feel bad about it. Syuri is backstage to speak on her upcoming match with Mayu Iwatani for the red belt. Mayu Iwatani, you will tap out and the red belt will be mine. And that's all she has to say before walking off. And on the flip side, Mayu is already running late for her match. I wrestle Syuri tonight. And by tonight, I mean in about 1 minute. I'm going to retain my red belt ahead of my match with Takumi-san. Check it out. So our main event of the evening, it's an exceptional match, which you just love to see. As Mayu Iwatani defeated Syuri in 1808 by a pinfall with a frog splash. Mayu makes defense number 4 of her World of Stardom Championship. Syuri had 51, Mayu had 68. It was too short for an important match. Yeah, I kind of rushed it to like 18 minutes because I wanted Tam and Giulia to be long, and this was a steal the show match. So I wanted that to not completely tire these two out. I feel like I could have stretched it up to 20 minutes if I sacrificed another match a little bit. Maybe Tam versus Giulia, but I really wanted that one to just sort of really stand out, be the struggle of how long it takes Tam to defeat Giulia, but she just won't quit for the entire time. Well, this got a 51, so still a pretty solid main event. I think that's their best match on the show. Moving on to the next segment, she closes the show with the rest of stars following her victory. That got a 59, just a nice simple segment to end everything out. Of course, the classic, We Are Stardom. We're penalized for not adding the pre-booking of Momo vs. B, of course, but it increased our popularity in 53 regions, that being all the ones where we broadcasted to on the Stardom World. And that got a 45. That's actually pretty solid for a show. It really turned around near the end. Particularly, we've got a lot of yellow up here. This is when our matches were short, they weren't really what they needed to be. But things really turned around with the Away of Tai versus Tokyo Cyber Squad match. That went great. Syuri's pre-match promo Mayu, and then, of course, their match, Tam and Giulia. That didn't go as well as I expected it to. Like, at all. I expected that to kind of be a show stealer, but it really wasn't. Well, of course, I set the aim for this one to steal the show, but that is all for this video. If you do enjoy, please show some semblance of support so that I know to continue this, because this took hours. It's like a lot of hard work. I'm just trying my best to make something entertaining. As I said, that's all. Goodbye.